name is Diego. I come from Auckland, well, I live in Auckland, and I hate houses, and I hate people. Yes. But hey, look, today the story is how I got, about 7 years ago, and I started in real estate, and I've got really, really good at what I do. I love real estate, I love the game, and it makes me overlook the fact that houses and people are not my strength. But I love this game, and today I'm going to show you what I've done from day one to last year, selling just over 300 houses. And in the first year of real estate, I was subsidizing my incomes because I didn't have an income. I was making any money by driving an Uber for 3 or 4 months. Fast forward to 7 years. As I said, last year, me and my team, we sold 304. I sold, I think, 250 myself, and the rest within the team. And today is not about telling you how hard I work, because trust me, I worked really, really hard. I worked harder than a 70-year-old stripper on a Monday night in Wollongong. I worked very hard. So today is not about that. Today is about my journey of the last couple of years, how I've got from selling, 60, 70 houses to selling almost a house a day. Well, not really, but almost, right? And it all started at the start, as you can imagine. Who's flown with AirAsia here? Few hands. Horrible airline, right? Shocking. With all due respect. Now, first year in real estate, as I was saying, I had no money. I was driving an Uber. I had an opportunity to go to a wedding in Vietnam to a friend of mine, and I had no money. Looking at the fares, and I'm like, fuck, that's a lot of money. Jump onto AirAsia, third of the price. 3 times the amount of time to get there. And I'm like, bang, that's me. 4 connections. I thought it was stupid. 20 hours stopover in Singapore or something like that. I don't know. So I was like, okay, well, look, I've just got into real estate. Someone told me about the $1 Million Agent podcast, Tom Pennis and McGrath. And for me, I clicked. And I listened to every single episode in about 3 or 4 months. Then that opportunity came. And I was like, I'm going to download all of the episodes again by myself at the cheapest pad I can find, writing pad, and I'm going to listen to all of them again and write down scripts and dialogue, one-liners, and conversational that I could use in my business. And I did, and I still got those pages. That was a horrible journey there, by the way. It took me 4 days to get there. I was there for a day and a half and 3 days to come back. But I've got about 15 pages of scripts and dialogues. That is not about the $1 Billion Agent podcast. It's about me learning because I did not know what to say. Simple Italian boy just arrived in New Zealand from a boat ride. No, it wasn't like that, but you know what I mean. Anyway, very briefly, there is a principle of you do something for 10,000 hours, you become a master at it. If you work 80 hours a week in real estate, you do 10,000 hours in 2 years, 4 months, and something days. And that's what it took me to get really, really, really good. I didn't burn bridges from my previous careers, but I knew that this is all I did. So it actually you don't even have to work 100 hours a week, although I've done it a lot of times in the first few years. You can become good very fast, and this is how I did it. Okay, one thing that I wish I had more of now, and I think for the rest of my life, is time. Time. Within my business. So what I did to buy time, well, I literally bought time. There are certain things that I do on a daily basis so many times. Would you like to come for an appraisal? How much did the property sell? This kind of question, regardless if they come by email, by text, or, obviously on the phone, you'll just pick up your phone. Buying time for me means that I've got templates for everything. Anything that I've got to send the same message more than 2 or 3 times a week, I've got a template saved in my phone. For example, somebody says, can I have a look at this property? I would go, whatever name of my support agent, and I'll talk about my team, what I do later. I would go like Winnie, www, press goes out. Same for an appraisal request. I've got templates for everything because it's Groundhog Day. Same day, every day, we say the same things on repeat. So I bought myself time by actually investing a tiny bit of time to have templates for literally everything. System and process, we'll talk about that in a second. That buys me time as well. But that's the first thing, because when you have, and at the moment I think I've got about 55 live listings, 25 of them being auctions. You've got to do 25 review meeting, reserve meeting, 25 sold sticker, 25, blah, blah, blah. It all takes a lot of time. So this is the way that I did it, buying time. One of the things that I did, though, that changed my whole business, and if you get anything out of today, and by the way, at the end of the presentation, I'll be sharing all of my templates that I have as a free gift. So I'll tell you when to put your phone up so you can QR code the thing out of it. But one of the things that I did that changed my whole business is, and I stumbled upon this, I didn't do it on purpose. My first PA came on board, I always use a Mac, and I bought a second Mac to give to her, and I cloned it. I had one Mac, I had the second Mac, and something that happened strangely is that by cloning her, my PA could text from my phone number, email from my phone number, and I went, bang, that's what I need to do. That's how I do my business moving forward. Now I've got 4 admin, we've got 6 of these laptops, they're all the same, and I'm sitting here today, my PA is sending out emails to my old database coming from me. Now, the title of today's presentation is How to Never Prospect Again. Now, trust me, I do prospect, but I do not do the door knocking. I never call. I do not call. If I make 1 phone call a day out, it's a lot for me. Of course, I return phone calls, but I do not prospect anymore. Prospecting is done for me in the sense that my team can text from my mobile, from another computer, a part of mine. They can email. They can do a lot of things. So people think that it's coming from me, so that I've got time to do the 2 things that are most important in real estate, which is list and sell. List and sell. I get paid a lot of money. I'm really good. And that's all I do, because like a doctor, a pilot, and I'm not trying to compare myself to a doctor and a pilot, they do only 2 things. The doctor doesn't come in and do the prep and the stitching. The doctor comes in and does the operation on the heart. Maybe not like that. But, I only do 2 things, list and sell. That's about it. I'm a bit hungry now, but McDonald's. One thing, that shocking burgers in my opinion, but one thing they do very well, no matter what part of the world you are, Wollongong, I don't even know if they have a McDonald's, but anyway, no matter what part of the world you are, McDonald's will slash out a Big Mac in like a minute or 30 seconds. They got system and processes for everything. So I'll take a little bit through a journey of one of my system and processes. And people say sometimes to me, Diego, what is a system and process? Is it a robot that does? And I say, no, it's not a robot. We're not living in 2080. Still a person doing it. But what it is, it's an automation of something that goes through a journey for a client. For example, somebody texts me, say, hey, can you do an appraisal to my property? I got a reply, appraisal AAA, send that, gives them 2 options for the time, just all set up nice and easy. I go and my PA would send them a rate my agent email with all my testimonials, a calendar invite, a confirmation text. My support admin will send them a blue box, which is information, delivered to the door. Everything done within half an hour. So it's 5 points of contacts, 5 points of contacts before they even have a time to call another agent. On the day of the photography, my support teams will come with a candle, a card, and a checklist of what to expect throughout the campaign. I'll send them an email that sort of gives them all the dates and all that. Because I've got this, I don't know, if a vendor calls me and asks me a question, I genuinely, unless it's a very technical question, right? But a general question around, I don't know, open homes and feedback, I feel like I've failed. I got to give them the information sooner instead of getting 10 different phone calls about the same thing on the first weekend of open home, because I do volume, right? 300 plus sales is 300 plus vendors. So it's about give them the information so they don't pick up the phone and call you. So, got some system and processes on, just very basic stuff. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but on the day of the auction, we'll send them a bunch of flowers. As soon as it goes under contract, they send a bunch of flowers. The picture from the sold sticker and all the pictures of the campaign will given in a photo book, which will be delivered at the new address, which of course then the address goes back into my database. All of this is done. I don't have to worry about a thing. And again, I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but everything is set up. And my operation manager, which I think, she's the oil that makes the engine run in my whole team, she just got it under control, and I don't have to worry about a thing. Time, speed. Speed is so important in today's world and in this industry. And I'm not talking about methamphetamines here. I'm talking about the speed of which you reply. And, Seth this morning was saying, hey, look, you got to answer your phone after 1 ring. Impossible. But nevertheless, I understand the principle, the speed of which you reply to someone. Now, I've got, as I said, about over 50 listings at the moment, 50 group chat on WhatsApp. WhatsApp gives me PTSD. It just goes on there all day. Serious. I now put it on silence when I need to have 10 minutes of peace. But the point of that is that anything that happens, we reply, the good and bad, the bad and the ugly. This morning, I had a vendor call me, message me and say, hey, Diego, very low numbers again today, or that was yesterday. We're thinking to take the house off the market. I replied within 10 seconds. I was like, hey, look, I appreciate that. You're not the only person that feels that, and I'm going to give it a push until you decide to take it off the market. Their reply was like, Diego, that's all we needed to know, a bit of confidence. Let's carry on. But the good, the bad, and the ugly, don't walk away from basically give somebody bad news, because the bad news needs to be delivered if it needs to be delivered. But the speed of which you do that, same as the speed of when an information pack gets delivered to the door, or the speed of which you say, hey, I'm going to come and have a look at the house in 20 minutes if you got time, and present the same evening. Trust me, a lot of agents haven't even called that buyer, that vendor that asked for that appraisal. Speed, speed, speed. To have the ability to have the speed on your hand, again, not methamphetamines, is though to have time. So buy yourself time, which having a very support team and all of that. Talking about my team. Unfortunately, we're too busy to get new pictures. We've got 4 more people now in the team, but that was early or some stage last year. I'm going to tell you how I structure my team. The admin. Without the admin, will be headless chicken running around and bouncing against each other. So I've got an operation manager. She's literally the sharper end of the pencil. She makes me look good when I don't. And she talks with the vendors on the group chats. So that is the most important role. Give her a pay rise after 6 months. She was working with me. She's really, really good. And I rely on her so much. So Melissa, if you're watching this on repeat, don't ever leave me. Then I've got a PA that, of course, you need a PA that helps you with all the, anything that anyone needs. And in terms of support, we've then got someone that has got, that does my flyers, open home signs. We do 40,000 flyers a month. So someone full-time dedicated just to do that. And then the game changer. The game changer, and she's not in this picture, but the game changer is the marketing manager. Now, I work for Harcourts. Harcourts gives a lot of support. Like, any brand gives a lot of support, right? The point of this is not where I'm working for, who I'm working for is, but the point of this is that brand you is more than brand whatever company you work for. So, my marketing manager, she makes me look really good. She does all the flyers. She does literally everything. She does online lead generation. I pay her good money again, but she gets me to look better than anyone else. So our branding is extremely strong in the marketplace, and sometimes people, when, occasionally I do a viewing or I need to fill in for an open home, occasionally when I do that, somebody comes in and is like, oh, is that you, Diego? I thought it was just a brand. They don't even know I work for Harcourts. They think that Team Diego is the brand. So it's really, really powerful to have someone on board that can help you with that. That's obviously when you do a lot of listings, right? You always start with a PA, and marketing manager is the last piece of that puzzle for the super team. But that's what it allowed me to get from where I was and writing 150 a year to writing 300 sales plus. Now, social media. I am a huge fan of social media, but when I was like, I got to talk about social media. I got to say something, right? And I was like, what do you say? I mean, you got online you got the different platform, and again, it's not reinventing the wheel. Social media is very simple. For every property that we have with video, chuck $100 on Facebook and Instagram. If you do 100 properties, that's 100 times that people will be exposed to. Have your own website. On the website, have a pixel. That's a technical word for something that is going to be the stalker of the user that sees your website. So when they go on another website, they can still see your name. A property market report. Man, if you're not doing that, this market, or in this day and age, you really should start. The first one that I did, they were on the iPhone, they were cringy, and you cannot find them online anymore. Now, I just match them with a property video. When I go and record a property video, I just get basically the videographer to do a 2 minutes sort of property video before I introduce the property, pay a couple of $100, looks really good and professional, and that's monthly. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's basically just doing the basics and do it all the time, because at some stage you'll become a market expert because someone else is not doing it. Now, you can get creative and you can do a lot of other things, but really, if you're not starting from the basics, property videos, market reports, let's not get too complicated. Starting is beginning, they say, right? So And be as well personal. Like I don't have two profiles, it's just me. It's Diego, whether you like it or not. On one of the real estate gym videos when I started, I remember someone said, if your grandmother doesn't like the post on your Instagram or Facebook, don't have it on there for your clients. I don't have a grandmother, she's died, but that's the principle anyway. I've only got stuff there. I've got two beautiful girls, and I never put my flash cars or anything like that. I'm trying to be relevant to the market that I work, which is just like me. I'm a simple Italian boy. My market is not like, what you call it, Bondi Beach, or like, so you kind of want to show the world that you are just what you are, which is a simple Italian boy. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. Who's been to the Philippines? Filipinos are amazing people. Now, keep this in mind. Every March, which in New Zealand, March is the end of the financial year. The end of the financial year. Every March, I get burned out. I'm talking proper burned out, right? Like, working 16 to 18-hour days, 7 days a week. And last year, 2021, was the same. Got super burned out. Did an appraisal on a Wednesday night, on a Tuesday night, and about 9:30 to have a look at the property. I do a two-stage approach because my competitors always say he doesn't have time, so I go and have a look at it first and then come back to present. And they were like, look, we want to come on the market as soon as possible, so can you come back to us tomorrow? And I'm like, tomorrow the first time I can do is 10:30 p.m., hoping they'll say no, right? Go on to the next day, and they're like, perfect, 10:30 p.m. you can do it. All right, cool, okay. So there you go, 10:30 p.m. the day after. Now, keep in mind, like what I said, is Groundhog Day real estate, right? The same thing, the same conversation, the same appraisals and scripts and dialogues, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you change them a little bit, but it's the same principle. So I arrived there, 10:25, because 5 minutes early is on time is late, and 5 minutes late is simply unacceptable. So I arrived there on time, 5 minutes early, sit down, and there was the family, plus another family. And they're like, well, this family's got a few properties, and Ferdinand is really good in understanding the property market, so he's here to interview for their listing presentation. I'm like, okay, fair enough, cool. Sit down, and Ferdinand looks me in the eyes and say, before we get started, tell me one time in your life before you started real estate, a time that you failed at something, but you could apply the failures in your own life. And I'm like, Ferdinand, right? Ferdinand, yeah, can you repeat the question? He was like, Diego, before you started real estate, tell me one time that you failed and you could apply to your own life. To this date, and I've called Ferdinand before coming here to AREC, I asked him as well, what did the answer to you? The point of this is not the answer, because I can't remember what I said. I must have said something right, because I did get the business. I must have said something right. But the point of that is that no matter what flash car you drive, number one agent or for real estate, for rate my agent or whatever it is, people want to know if you're a decent person, because unfortunately the bar, and I'm talking about New Zealand, I can't comment in Australia, but I think it's probably similar. The bar is pretty low for real estate agent because it's a commission-only industry. So these people were previously on the market. They just wanted to know that the person that was going to represent them moving forward was a decent person. And whatever I said, and if Ferdinand laughed when I asked them the question, decent people, and all they wanted to know was that I wasn't a bullshitter. Got a listing though, so that was good. Go home at midnight that night. Now, before my last line, so I'm going to skip one, there's going to be a QR code here. Take your phones out, and this is all of my scripts, dialogues, all of my everything that I have that I'm happy to share about a couple of things. So do that, and I'll take a picture of you taking a photo at that. Just for my social media. Looks good. Awesome. Perfect. Cool. Ah, thank you. That will be up for about 2 or 3 days, guys, and then I'll remove it just because, it's just for you guys. I'm going to go back. All done? Yeah? Cool. All done? Yeah? Good. No problemo. I'm actually early, 1 minute, 59, 58, 57. I've practiced so many times that I was like, I've got to get it to 20. I'm getting there. Got it? No? Okay, all good. Now, my last slide is, there you go, there's a couple of extra people. There's no rush. 44, 43, 42, 41. All good. Hopefully you could all understand my accent. Sometimes I speak way too fast. Cool? Awesome. I'll go back. This is my last slide. Only the mediocre are at their best. It was an answer phone machine that my mentor, Aaron Davis, had one day. And by the way, if you do not change your answer phone message every day, I think you should, because that got me business and it looks like you're onto it. Oh, it's Diego from Harcos. Today is whatever today is, because I didn't do it because I'm on holiday. And sorry, I'm busy right now. I'll call you back as soon as I can. I do that every day, a part of where I'm on holiday. It says overtime, so I've got to wrap it up. But basically, one day I heard that quote and it got stuck into my mind. Only the mediocre are at their best. I know I'm good, but the day I think that I'm going to be the best, or I am the best, is probably the day I'm going to sink down. My journey is still long, and yes, I'm good at what I do, but still I've got a lot to learn. And hopefully today you appreciated my presentation. Thank you so much, AREC.